Welcome back to our Winstons WOW Moments. As you all know, we have an opportunity to just speak to you all, share experiences that have blessed us in our lives, and we are so grateful and thankful for the feedback and the recognition for God moving on our behalf through Winstons WOW Moments. So this will happen every other Thursday, about 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and so stay tuned, share, have watch parties because it's definitely a blessing to us. So we hope you enjoyed this week's WOW Moments. So Pastor Winston, husband, what do you have for this week's WOW Moment?
I needed reinforcements because this WOW moment, hopefully my reinforcements will sit still long enough for me to share this with you. But this will definitely make you say, wow. In the beginning of the stages of my wife and her grieving, which on the outside looking in, I didn't know how severe, how badly she was grieving until one day I walked into the house and discovered that she was eating a Star Crunch. And I have no idea where you even go to buy a Star Crunch. I don't know who sells them. I don't know how far she traveled, but she was eating a Star Crunch. And so at that moment, I said, Lord, this child is grieving because I hadn't seen a Star Crunch in years. And so after eating the entire box by herself, she tried to give one to Seven. Seven said it was nasty. And so with this, the reason why we're sharing this because there's so many different levels of grieving, of grief, and people grieve in their own way. She decided to grieve by eating a Star Crunch. But there's a particular text found in Ephesians 4 that I just wanted to read. It says, but unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of God. And there is a gift that comes from God that's called grace. But sometimes in our grief, all we see is grief. And you'll never transition to seeing that grace unless in times you see God. And so in the grieving, I saw someone that was eating this Star Crunch. But here was a wow moment that it had to have been a gift of God, and they're going to share that with you. And this involves Miss Seven.
Yes, so I first have to address the Star Crunch. If you still eat Star Crunch in 2020, let me know, because I know I'm not the only person in this world that still eats a Star Crunch because they still make them, they still sell them, and it reminded me of my childhood. So I went back to 334 Sedgefield Road, I ate a box of Star Crunch, and I was absolutely fine after I ate them. That's why we're back at Christian. But needless to say, I was going through still my emotions and how I was going to deal with just everything that had happened in my life with losing my parents. And so you mentioned about Seven. So Seven, wonderful Winston, our 4-year-old about to be 5. God used her.
Now, if I can share with everyone, because I know you heard that name, Seven, wonderful Winston. You may say that's a wow moment all by itself. Mm-hmm. But yes, her name is Seven, wonderful Winston. 7, number of completion. Mm-hmm. And then here's what scripture says. It says that she was fearfully and wonderfully made. And so when I called her name, Seven, wonderful Winston, I'm reminding her that she has been fearfully and wonderfully made in the God who has completed her. And so therefore I just wanted to share about my baby and why I named her Seven, wonderful Winston.
He's a proud daddy, so thank you for the name. And so Seven actually was used, so she knew about Papa Jimmy when he passed, and we knew and discussed him being in heaven. And so after my father passed, my mom, she would come and stay with us for a couple of days. And so her and Seven had time to just bond. And actually the last picture I have with my mom is when she was doing Seven's hair. So those were memories that were made in between that time that I do have to be thankful for. But then, the inevitable happened, my mother's passing. And so it was different with my dad because we didn't really have that conversation with Seven because we didn't know how it was going to impact her. So because she had just really had been spending one-on-one time with her. And so then I remember coming home and bathing Seven. It was just me and Seven. And then all of a sudden, because I wasn't having really much to say, she said something to me. So you remember what you told me about Grandma Daisy? What did you tell me about Grandma Daisy?
Well, what got me was that we decided not to share with her, didn't say anything. She was just with us. And then while they was having bath time, she said that they were in heaven and they were resting, and nobody said anything. And it was just like a wow moment that, wow, no one said anything, she didn't know anything, but she said they're in heaven. And not just that they're in heaven, but they are resting. And this is from a restless 4-year-old that all she knows is tots and Mickey Mouse and just playing, but she would share that. And that's why I read that measure of grace, because God does give us a measure that even in our grief, there is relief, and it's called grace. And so just wanted to share that because it was a wow moment. And back to the Star Crunch. She's not going to get any comments. Nobody's going to say anything because absolutely there is nobody else that eats Star Crunch. Matter of fact, not only does she eat Star Crunch, but she's the only person I know that still uses Thousand Island dressing. Nobody still uses Thousand Island salad dressing. I don't even know why they still make it. No vinaigrette, nothing that has taste to it or some type of upper echelon. No, we go to a restaurant, nice restaurant. We're Ruth Chris, and do y'all have any Thousand Island? Lord,
I'm not going to forget from whence I came, and at Daisy and Jimmy's house, we had Thousand Island. So wherever I go, I will eat vinaigrette. I actually have become to enjoy it, but I like, and again, two things then, since you want to go there. If you eat Star Crunch, let me know. And if you still do Thousand Island as a preferred dressing, let me know that as well. We got to prove Pastor Winston wrong that I'm the only one in this world who still eats Star Crunch and Thousand Island dressing. But yeah, so to your point with the wow moment, God used Seven, and of course a measure of grace, because there's moments when I need more grace, and there's times that I have the grief that I'm dealing with. But that moment, I'll never forget being in that bathroom for the rest of my life, and those words coming out of this lady's voice, this little toddler's voice. But
I see the grace, the measure of grace, because what you see now is the butterfly. But in those days, the butterfly that you see some kind of way reversed it and went back and went to, I saw butterfly, then I saw caterpillar, and then it went from caterpillar to a cocoon. And that's where you were at. So God said, okay, I need a measure of grace. So the butterfly that went to the caterpillar, to this cocoon, you needed something that was supernatural. True. Because there was nothing I could say. You sitting here eating Star Crunch. They had to been stale and old, sitting in somebody's stove. I didn't check the expiration date, but I know they were out of date. Because Star Crunch, though, of all the stuff, a Star Crunch, she was grieving. Wow. I know you saying wow. I know you. When has the last time you eaten a Star Crunch? And so I knew as I began to pray, and God did it, and out of the mouth of a babe, my baby would say, they are in heaven and they are resting. And from there, I saw the cocoon go back to a caterpillar, back to the butterfly she is now. Now, she still has her moments. And I want to just share this in the wow, because there were some times in the grieving that even sometimes I couldn't help but to say, wow. And maybe this could help somebody, because if you are down yourself and you calling to pick somebody else up that's already down, if you're down, maybe wait.
Wow. All right, Seven said that was enough camera time for her. It is nap time, so we're gonna give the sound control? Give sound control her exit, and we appreciate her being used in our wow moment. So, what else did you have to share about this wow moment?
Well, I think I've done enough because I'm still waiting on feedback for the Star Crunch and the 1,000 Island that I know absolutely nobody uses in 2020. That's been enough wow for me. So.
It's impossible, and I know it's gonna blow your mind because I know social media is not going to fail me because I know that I am not the only person in 2020 or in the Greater Valley area that eats Star Crunch or has eaten Star Crunch or continues to eat it or 1,000 Island.
Ladies and gentlemen, I already know in advance that we're not going to find anybody that eats the Star Crunch or the 1,000 Island unless your high school picture is in black and white. And then perhaps you can relate to this. But I want to just encourage everybody, be safe from not just be careful of the COVID-19. We want you to be safe. But then there's many people, if they haven't caught the COVID-19, they've caught the 19 from COVID. And so we want you to be careful from that because being quarantined, next thing you know, you done caught that 19 COVID. The 19 pounds staying quarantined from COVID. So be careful from COVID-19 and 19 COVID. We love you. This has been a wow moment. And I thank God that he did use 7 to turn the cocoon back to this butterfly. Blessings to all. Hope you enjoyed this wow moment with the Winstons.
Wow.
Wow.